Hey, good evening everyone, Sharpen here, and today I'm going to do a video on how to sharpen your knife, and in this case machete. This is the Tramontina 18-inch machete from Brazil. You can see here, this is the original Tramontina with plastic handles, and this handles, to me, it's much better than the wooden handle. So I'm gonna do a bit of a review here since I've got this knife out and I haven't talked about it. Basically, I use this in my garden. 18-inch Brazilian Tramontina. It's really useful, but it doesn't come with a really good edge. So when you try to cut stuff, I'm going to give you an example. You can see here, when you cut stuff, it doesn't really cut. And if you watch Joe X's videos, you'll notice that he did a video on a Tramontina and he criticized it because it doesn't come with a sharp edge, right? It looks sharp, but it's not sharp at all. It doesn't really cut. But the reason why it's done so is because you don't want it too sharp when you're shipping it, and also when the edge is sharper, it becomes a bit not as tough, right? So when you cut branches, it's not as useful because it might actually chip the edge. So I'm going to show you guys a already sharpened Tramontina. So there we go. This is the one that I actually used outside. You can actually see that it's really nicely used. The edge is a bit rusty, and that's the problem with carbon steel. This is a carbon steel from this Brazilian Tramontina company. By the way, Tramontina is the name of the company that makes this kind of machetes, and they are world popular because they've been used really extensively in, I guess, the forest of Brazil. It's tropical forest, and here in Malaysia it's also tropical, so it's been really useful in my outdoor garden. So you can actually see the edge here has been really used to cut trees, to cut branches, to cut shrubs, just clearing the way, and even some tall grass, right? So this one I just sharpened, so you can actually see the difference here. You can see the edge, right, has like a silvery line at the top here if it catches the light, right? So this line, it's more of like the sharpening. That's why you see the apex of the edge. So I'm going to bring the same piece of paper just now, and then I'm going to show you how sharp it is. See? So there you go. Okay, user error there. Let me get more of the edge here. So you can see here, when the edge catches the paper, it already slices, right? So you can see it's a really straight cut, so you know that it's sharp, right? There we go. It's really sharp because it's a really straight cut. Of course, over there, I think there is some chip. Well, not really chips, some rolling. I didn't really get it correctly done. That's why you see like it got stuck. But let's try that again. Let's try the top part, which I sharpened better. So you can see here, you can cut just a clean cut right to the bottom. There we go. So it's not like super duper sharp. I mean, for this like long blade, it takes a while to sharpen just to get the edge right, and that's why you don't get like super duper sharp. And also the steel used is not like a steel that can get a very sharp edge, but it's tough. It's a tough carbon steel, and for this level of sharpness for something like this is considered really good already. So especially when you're out there chopping wood, you don't really need it to be like super duper sharp. But yeah, so in this video, I'm going to show you guys how you get to at least this kind of sharpness level, right? If you want it to be sharper, you can actually spend more time on it to make it sharper, but in this video I'm just going to show you how to get it to at least this kind of sharpness level where you can get like a straight edge here, right? So I'm going to bring back my newer Tramontina. This one I got to replace the other one that's already slightly rusting. Yeah, I should oil it. I'm going to use a silicone spray on it. Recently got to know about silicone sprays, so if you guys want it not to rust and keep this really nice look even while you're doing work in the garden, I would suggest using a silicone spray. So you can see here, this one doesn't cut at all, it's not sharp. Oh, it does cut, but you need to like really saw it to get, I guess certain parts of the edge have been sharpened, but not all. You can see like the top here seems to be able to cut. So basically this top is sharp, but this bottom part is not sharp. So what I'm gonna do is use this, okay? This is a diamond rod, okay? If you don't have a diamond rod, you can buy one from, you know, a China seller online. It's really cheap. It's like 2 US dollars. Yeah, around $2 US. By the way, the knife itself is also like this machete Tramontina. It's not that expensive. It's about 10 US dollars, right? Slightly more than 10 US dollars, but you get, you know, the price range around there. So you just want to get this diamond rod. If you don't have this particular diamond rod, you can get a Victorinox diamond file, right? I don't suggest you use a sharpening whetstone, simply because let me show you guys the sharpening whetstone I use. But like I said, I don't suggest you use it. This is the Sharpen sharpening whetstone. I don't suggest you use this because it's really for fine sharpening, and for this the blade is the edge is so huge, you're gonna take forever to sharpen it. So a really rough diamond rod or diamond stone would do. But for me, I prefer like a diamond rod. You can see here the diamond rod is like you have this flat edge here and then a slightly like curved edge. So it also, if you can turn it around, there's a thinner edge to do the sharpening for serrations. But since there's no serrations here, you can adjust it. By the way, you can adjust the length of it. This diamond rod pen, you can actually search online for it. Yeah, as long as you get something like a really low grade, you can sharpen it by putting it on the edge here. You can see, okay, to get the edge right, you just have to lever this right to match the edge, and then you just go slightly higher a bit because you don't really want to accidentally scratch your blade surface, right? So you have a slightly you know, not as acute edge but slightly higher. If you guys can see this, but you know, you just don't want to accidentally scrape your blade, right? So just get something like this, okay? And then you would what you would do is you will sort of like go up and down on the edge. It's really easy, and you have to spend some time. I'm doing it like really fast now just to show you guys the idea. If you want, you can actually go all the way to the top edge here to create sort of like an edge for it, because it's actually not sharp here, but you can develop that edge by you know, by filing it, right? So what you're doing is actually filing this edge, right? You're filing this edge, okay? So I'm going to show you guys the edge here. You can see the edge here, it has lines already, right? Because of the factory filing or the factory sharpening of the edge. So what you're actually doing is adding to those lines, right? So you're going to like get it to draw more lines. I mean, you're gonna scratch it to the point where you get more lines, right? So you would want to do this as much later when the burr has already formed. Now, what is a burr? A burr is like when the metal scrapes off the edge and then comes to this side, right? So you sort of like can feel a little sandbar or like a little bar of metal, right, that has been scraped off from this side, and has gone to the other side. So obviously if you do it soft, you're not going to get the bar, and it's not going to be sharp. So what you need to do is really like push it with a bit more strength, right? Use your whole body to push, right? Get the angle always you make sure that it's always at a similar angle. So in order to get that angle right, you don't move just your wrist, you move your entire body. You can see here what I'm doing is I'm moving my waist, right? So I move my waist, and this angle remains the same, so that I get a consistent angle as I sharpen the knife edge. Okay, the blade edge. As I sharpen it, I need to make sure that I have a consistent angle, right? So again, like I said, when you first start, you can just do a back and forth motion, right? It's not going to be nice, right? You're going to get like a rough, like really a rough, sort of like rough filing, right? So it's like when you're filing your fingernails, right? So at first you get that rough kind of what you are doing is actually sawing off the metal. So sometimes you might want to wear like a mask, because a lot of metal dust will come out. So after you get like the like you have the rough filing already, you actually do softer strokes like this. Softer strokes, right? You guys can see this, softer strokes at the same angle. Oops, I'm moving my wrist. Just make sure to move waist and don't move the arm. Obviously when you move your waist, your arm will move, right? But because the arm remains relatively at a relative angle to your waist, and the waist moves, it's going to maintain this angle, right? So when you move your waist, it's sort of like moving the bar or the sharpening rod, so that it can maintain the angle on the blade's edge, right? So you can hear sometimes when you do this, it's very relaxing, very zen-like, and that's part of the reason why I like this knife hobby. Sharpening is also a very relaxing thing to do, and this metal diamond rod really helps with the feel of it, to feel that very zen-like feel. So some people ask if you must turn the angle of this rod to the side when you're sharpening the curve here. I don't really think so, because the lines here are actually straight, you can see. So in order to maintain the same lines, you can just use the same movement, to straight movement, to get the lines. But obviously as it reaches the tip here, you do need to turn a bit to get a slightly different edge here, right? Otherwise you can continue with the straight sharpening. But as you sharpen, you can actually see, okay, wait, let me show you guys. You can actually see like a silver sort of like extra shine here, right? I don't know if you guys can see it, but let's see if you guys can see it. There's a silver shine there, because the edge here is a double edge that is coming out, because the apex here is actually being scraped away, right? And then there's metal being stuck on the side, right? So you will see actually when you turn it over, right? You turn it over and then you start sharpening the other side. This side will get that extra edge faster than the other side, right? So this side, because the burr has formed, you will see that this silver, there's a little silver line that appears there. So it's very nice to see it, because when you sharpen it, you can actually see it sparkle, right? It sort of like sparkles in the light. I don't know if you guys can see it. In the edge here, just here at the tip of my fingernail, right? It sparkles, right? So you get like, you can actually see it sparkle, and you just know where exactly to file it to get rid of the metal sandbar, right? Or the burr, right? So when you get rid of the burr, you can actually see it shining more, right? So it shines more, so you know where the parts that doesn't shine, the blotchiness, you just have to spar it to get rid of the burr. So what happens when you get rid of the burr is sometimes the burr goes back to this side again, the original side that you started at, and then you have to go back to filing this side. But then you can actually see that little burr go away, and then when you just angle your knife, you can see the light shining off it. So that makes it really fun to sharpen, and then you will take time to go from one side to the other side and then back again, and slowly you will get some some sharpness in it. Let's just try it because I've done a bit of sharpening. Let's see if there's any help at all. Not so good, but you can see that it does cut now. Certain parts of it does cut. Oh, but earlier on the top part cuts really well, so I guess you can see that the top part still does cut. Let's try the bottom part and not move it so much, then we'll see whether it's any sharper at all. Okay, so let's see. Just the bottom part, so I have to do a bit of sawing. Yeah, it got a bit sharper. I wouldn't say a lot sharper because I need to use more strength, right? More strength on the on sharpening the blade. So what I mean more strength is I need to push it harder, right? Push it harder, right? Push it harder so that a bigger burr forms on the other side, and then I can slowly, do it. I can slowly like scrape it away on the other side. So this is how you sharpen your blade. So I'm not going to bore you guys. I think you guys know the process from me explaining already. Then what I'll do next after I have fully sharpened it is I'll use this olive oil, put on top of this, right? And then I'll take a piece of paper, tissue paper, and wipe it, right? And the reason why I do that is to get rid of the metal dust. So you can see a lot of metal dust is there because I've been filing it, and that's how you know you are doing you are actually making the edge sharper. You can actually see the edge there, right? You can actually see the edge. Can you see the edge, guys? Okay, what you can also do is you put your finger here, right, and sort of like in between, like sandwich it, and then you just drag your finger down towards the edge. You can actually feel how flat is it towards the edge, right? And then at the same time you can sort of like gently put your finger on the edge itself and feel if there is a catch or the burr itself on either side, right? You just have to angle your finger a bit. I think there's a burr on this side, and then what you need to do is slowly far away at the burr, right? Slowly far away at the burr. And yeah, so that's how you do it. And you can actually use a leather belt as a strap later on to get rid of the last bits of burr. Okay, so just rub it away from the edge, right, and get rid of the burr, and then your Tramontina will be sharp again. That's how I did it with my other Tramontina. So I'm gonna end this here and keep this video below 20 minutes. I would just, like I said, recommend this Tramontina from Brazil for chopping outside the garden, and for basically cleaning up shrub. It's really useful and one of the best machetes I have had. So I will end it here. Thank you so much, guys. Please do give me a thumbs up, a like, and a subscribe, and click that notifications bell. Thank you and take care now. I'll see you soon. Bye.